All right, thank you guys. Thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. It's obviously an exciting time for us getting ready here for tomorrow. It's so different now with the earlier workouts and the things that we're able to do. So we feel like we've had a lot of stuff. You throw in the summer, you throw in workouts in this past summer. So it's a different time, and we're gonna have a scrimmage tomorrow for the Oakland Zoo, and I think we've got a lot of things in right now. Even though we've got a couple guys out, I feel like we can put out a pretty good group and with a pretty good understanding of what we're trying to do at this early point. So I think it's going to be something we can build off of, and looking forward to it. I'm excited about the schedule, excited about who we've got and the non-conference. Obviously, we're dealing with some injuries right now with Duran. I don't think he'll be playing tomorrow. And then obviously Cameron Wright is going to be out for a while too. So we'll see how it goes. Can't give you too much on the specifics when Cameron will be back, when Duran will be back. But obviously we'll be conservative. We'll play things out. And it's been good. Our guys have gotten some more minutes. Our younger guys, or more reps, I should say, possessions being out there each time. And then also we've had the ability to move Jamel and Sheldon around to 2 different spots, which I think is something we're going to be doing and something that will be a strength of ours and we can use to our advantage. So thank you again for coming out, and we'll get going here.
Jamie, with the nature of Cam's injury, I know you can't go into it, but can you at least describe Josh and Chris and their progressions in something similar to that kind of a role?
Well, I mean, Cameron's definitely going to be out a lot. I don't know how many games he's going to miss. It's not going to be a lot. I mean, it's, obviously you're always focused on that first game and that first week, but in the scope of things, the whole year, he's not going to miss a lot of games. So, we've, Josh, they're all going to play. I mean, they're all going to get opportunities, more so than probably before. Cameron Johnson, too, we'll see how he's going. Jamel Sheldon will play some more 3 in practice and probably in games. So it's going to come down to a variety of guys, but obviously Josh and James played well together at the end of the year. They've both got to take strides, improvements, and we're gonna have to get through it. It's obviously not ideal. You don't want your leading returning scorer out, but we've been dealing with injuries for these last 4 or 5 years. I mean, we've battled through it. It's not something that's a good thing. You can sit up here and try to make it, but generally, Virginia was a team that won the conference last year. How many injuries did they have last year? None. They had the guys out there. So it's something we'll get through, and the one thing is I don't think we're going to have a conditioning issue, a weight issue with Cameron in that he, because there's not much he can do as far as staying in shape and conditioning. But I think that, given his body type, given his history, I think he's going to recover quickly, and that won't be an issue.
What sort of the feeling around the team when he went down?
I was actually on the road. It wasn't a workout. It was they were running, and so it's bizarre. It's another. We've found another way for it to have an injury. So it's just. I think. I was getting on the plane when I found out. I think guys were just they've seen injuries before, whether there was in high school, AAU, or in the past with Duran. I think guys generally know that it's part of the game and that you just gotta be ready and go forward. So I don't think you can ask them afterwards what their initial reactions were, but I think they've seen it before, and usually the next guy steps up, and in this case I think it'll be a lot of guys. So it's early in the season. It doesn't make our season. I've seen some things where describing our team in some magazines, the first thing it's mentioned, he's out for 2 months or whatever. I mean, it's that we define our success. We are the ones that determine it. So, that's not gonna be. We're not gonna use that as a crutch.
With Lamar and Talib gone to graduation, who do you expect to replace their production defensively?
Well, every year we have a guy, and it's going to be different guys. I mean, with that said, Duran wasn't playing last year, so now you throw him in the mix. Cameron, you expect Josh, James, Sheldon, Mike, Jamel. I mean, I don't think it's going to be one guy who's going to go and take all their 30 points, 29, 30 points. I think it's just going to be a combination of guys. Again, with Lamar, we ran pretty much all of our plays with Lamar and Talib, being the guys. And so someone else will be in those spots. Someone else will be coming off the screen, getting the inside touches. But we'll be different. We'll adjust and we'll play to our strengths as we always do. But I think we'll have the ability. We'll pass it really well. We led the conference in assists last year, and when you do that, somebody's making that pass, and for us, that's as much of a concern, the assist production as well as the point production. So that's what we're looking at.
As you begin to practice, what kind of clearance does Duran have, and what activity level do you
Duran's is the ankle. I don't know maybe if I made that clear. The knee is fine. He was working out with us and doing stuff, and then he hurt his ankle, and it's taken longer than we thought. The swelling's been. He's ready to go. He feels he can play, but there's a pretty good amount of swelling still, and I think we're going on about 2 weeks now. So that's the issue that we're dealing with. He feels he could go. He could probably go tomorrow if it was a game, conference game or something along those lines. But I haven't talked to him today. The swelling went down yesterday, and it's for whatever reason the swelling has been greater than the pain. I mean, or the discomfort. And so it's functionally, it's been pretty good. It's just been some significant swelling that they've kept him out at. So I anticipate him being ready to go next week, and probably not Friday and Saturday. If I had to guess. Yeah, the ACL's fine. I mean, I think there's no. There has been occasional instances of swelling. Minor swelling, very minimal swelling, but that's to be expected, and it's diminished as the time has gone on. So really no pain, no discomfort. So all good things in that regard. And it's been a long time. I mean, he's had time to recover, and we feel good about it right now. But he needs to play, and he needs to get that. Conditioning's an issue, and just feeling more and more comfortable in live competition is good. He'd been going about 2-3 weeks before he hurt the ankle of playing live, and we not fully. I mean, not every rep. So we were taking him out some.
Jamie, can you talk about the conditioning of your team? I know many of your players are slimmer, leaner. James Robinson looks like a different player. Is this by design? And how does that maybe change your philosophy in terms of your style?
Well, I mean, it was a big emphasis on more running this year in this fall. But it really started last spring, and I think for some guys it was just getting here that second year, and it's just a continual progression of getting and changing their bodies, maturity, understanding of what they needed to get to. Jamel Artis is down to he's probably 25 pounds lighter than he was when he showed up. Mike is 20 pounds lighter than he showed up, and more athletic. Both are more athletic by substantial margins. It's just something we've done year after year. Some guys get stronger. Some guys got to change their bodies and get lighter quicker. But those guys stand out. James, that's been a constant battle, and we thought it was down last year, and it went back up as the season at different times throughout the year. So it's back down. We believe he has to be below 200, closer to 195, and that's where he is right now. So some guys, it makes them better players. And then I think the guys also saw the results of Lamar. I mean, Lamar having the great year and being an all ACC player and in the running for ACC Player of the Year, and finally. I shouldn't say finally, but gradually we got down to the weight that we had as a goal for him his freshman year when he arrived here, and I think they saw the benefits, and they saw the success he had as a lighter, quicker player. So some guys got to get stronger. We seem to have a group that for the most part has to get. We're trying to get a couple of the freshmen, trying to get them stronger and put on weight with those guys. So everybody's different, but there has been good progression in the right way for all of our guys.
For as many times as your teams have exceeded popular preseason expectations over the years, how much of a challenge will it be this year to do that again?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think that's what we're known for. We seem to finish a little higher, but we always seem to be the team that's losing two guys, two leading scorers, whoever it may be, guys going early, whatever it may be, and then we finish a little higher. But we're always playing in the toughest league in the country, so there's some pretty good teams that are always put in front of us. I would like to get through the year healthy one time and see how we could go with the group we started with and see how it goes. But I think there's a challenge. I mean, we've said it. I tell our guys I'll hear a magazine or somebody will tell me something. I'll tell them where they picked. I saw Vital's thing yesterday, and we were 25th or something, and so I mentioned that to him. I saw another one that didn't have us ranked. It's as I say, we determine our success. We determine who we're going to be, and so those are great to talk about, great to promote the game, but the reality is, they don't know what our guys have been doing all season. We have worked extremely hard. There's no question the amount of work ethic these guys have put in. And, I talked about a few guys, but a number of these guys, their bodies have changed, whether it be Joe Uchibo, who's, has made enormous strides. Derek Randall's in better shape. I mean, you go down the list of our guys, but the effort's been really good. I think the commitment's been really, really good. And we got to, as I was saying to him the other day, it's been good. It's been better than some of you guys have ever done, but it needs to be taken up another notch. And that's what we are going forward here. We've worked hard these preseason. We've had 11 challenge practices, as we call them, but they're really only 30-minute workouts. And but tomorrow it's going to be a whole nother level, Saturday especially, and they have to get used to that pretty quick. So I think they're determined to exceed I don't know what it's called, expectations, predictions, whatever you may be. What I've always seen is that whenever we start doing better, then the expectations just raise, and that's a good thing. So that's we have no problem with that. There is no, okay, we've exceeded, and then we're good. With here, we know it's never, we're never satisfied, and that's a good thing.
Jamie, how have you been able to use the Bahamas trip to your advantage?
Yeah. The 10 practices, we had the 8 weeks of workouts. We turned those 10 practices into 4 weeks of workouts, spread them out over 4 weeks. So that really encompasses our summer school, the 12 weeks. I don't know if that all adds up. Then the week over in the Bahamas. I mean, the competition wasn't great, but, they've had tougher games. They had some closer games with some of the other teams over there, other good programs. So I think it was good because we were able to do some things, try some things. I think we were able to implement some things we haven't used and looked at them. And then we saw some guys, just play a little better than maybe we had anticipated, and that was a good sign as well. So, it was a really great trip. It was a great trip for our team. It's something as a program you have to do to stay up with everybody else. That's just something that they use in recruiting. And there's 13 other schools, high to mid to low major schools all over there at different times. So it's good in every way. It's a reward for our guys. I mean, our APR top 10% in the country. I was just informed the other day we have a perfect score in the APR. So over the last 4 years, which is unheard of, and so it just goes to show what they're doing academically. And they deserved it, they earned it, and they've done a great job. But these guys are determined to do something special, and they understand where they've been picked, and all over the board, as often is the case. But and I know on paper we look like a young team, but I felt this summer. And having a lot of returning guys. I mean, I know that they have the two seniors, and obviously one of them's hurt. Derek's only been here 2 years. On paper, we're not an experienced team. I mean, an old team, I should say, but I feel like we're an experienced team. And mainly because those freshmen played so many minutes. And then we have a sophomore in Jeter who's older, played at Division I. So I think those 5 guys make us older. Then sophomores you look at them as young, but I think they make us a little more experienced than 5 sophomores generally are.
Jay Rowe, is he someone that you expect to give consistent minutes?
We're going to see. I mean, we're going to see him play it out, but he's obviously made significant progress, and I think he still runs with a limp at times, and then you'll see him. I mean, I think a lot of you guys saw him in the summer league. I don't know what you saw in the Bahamas, but then all of a sudden you'll see him as almost the fastest guy on the floor. So it's at times I'm like, I can't believe I'm playing the guy when I see him limp, but then all of a sudden he beats everybody down the floor in something else. So call it maybe he's setting you up or getting his teammates going, but it's something that we've had to figure out and play. But he's playing very well, and he was the top-ranked junior college guy in the country before he got hurt, and so kind of gives you an idea how good he was, and we'll see.
Gary, do you expect Mike to take the next step? Your MO has kind of been bringing guys in young, getting them experience young, and then they kind of take that step as they go along. Do you expect the same with Mike this year?
I think so. I mean, I think I don't know what that next step entails as far as numbers, but he's a better athlete. He's I think in health was a big issue down the stretch last year. He was hurt. He was playing with he was not the same player. No real explosion, but I think he's healthy now, and he's quicker, he's jumps better. He's a far better athlete than he was in high school. I mean, he's a guy that I think is far exceeded what people thought he was going to be with his hard work. He is in the gym endlessly, and these guys have put in an amazing amount of work, and he's been a big part of it. He's brought guys in the morning, in the afternoons, in the evenings, in addition to what the normal workouts that we have and require or are able to do. He's bringing them in there. So he's been tremendous. His work, if he does reach it, it'll be because of his work ethic, and he has really pushed himself and brought some teammates along with him, and that's pretty impressive for a sophomore. But he'll play both spots, I think. I think last year I said, Talib, who's going to be your big guy? Who's going to be your big guy? And I said Talib was going to be it, and everybody looked at me like, he can't do it. And last time I checked, he led the ACC in rebounding, which is what I also predicted at the start of the year. And I don't know that Mike has that same knack for going after the basketball, but he's going to create some challenges offensively or for the defense, I think, too, as well. So, I think it's something that he can play both spots, and I think he'll be effective, and it can make us a better team. Give it a little more versatility than maybe we had. We've never really had a guy that skilled that could play the 5, but he was our best post defender last year, and so that's encouraging to me that we're not going to lose anything defensively if we put him in at that spot. So again, more flexibility, fouls, end of game situations. I think it's something that will be beneficial to us.
Can you talk a minute about what you lose with Cameron and the guys that are going to be playing in that spot that they give you?
I mean, it's first of all, it's we're hoping it's not as many games as 10 weeks is 10 weeks, but there's how many games is that really going to turn out to be? So we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we're being conservative. 10 weeks. We've seen if you see somebody else has that same injury, generally 10 weeks is not the number that's put out there, but. We'll see how it plays out. We obviously want to be conservative with it. He is doing he's played a lot of point this season in this I call it season, but preseason with us in working out. He played off guard. He's going to play the 3 spots if we want to have him and Josh and James in there at the same time. So I think he's just going to with him out right now. We had Jamel and Sheldon at the 3 yesterday because Duran's out as well. So then you got Cameron Johnson and Chris Jones at the 2. So yeah, it gives some guys some time to play and get some things under them. I think it helps them probably in some exhibition games when they know they're going to get in there for minutes. And I think Chris Jones is gonna have a nice showing before. Once we get started here. I mean, I think Chris was kind of that odd guy out. You throw in, he tears ligaments in his thumb, that he never quite got that consistent minutes as the 6th perimeter guy. And so, this year, he's going to obviously have opportunity early.
Jamie, would you anticipate, say 10 weeks, I mean, Hawaii's sort of in that range of that 8 to 10. I mean, do you anticipate him, is that a best case scenario that he's able to play by Hawaii?
If any kid in America, if you're going to Hawaii, he's going to want to play. So, I know if he's sitting here and I say he's not going to play, he's going to sit here and tell you he's playing in Hawaii. So we'll see when it gets there. And, I think there's a concern that we'd have that many games in that short of time. We're going into 4 games in 6 days in that situation there. So that's something that will probably factor in as much as the time as well. So, I think that's another component that we're going to have to look at and see. We've had this injury before. We'll see how it plays out. One thing is, like I said, that the conditioning aspect. I think that we had it with Lance, and we, he put on some weight, and there was nothing really you can do. You can't tell him to run or to, there is no conditioning things without staying off your feet. That are effective, and this I don't think that'll be an issue with Cameron. So I think he'll come back ready to go in a good way.
Yeah, Ron was starting to make that evolution, when he got hurt. I mean, to be a better all-around player, trying to attack the basket more. Is he, how much of a setback, even though you say, has that been, or do you see, is he going to be sort of right where he was when he got hurt?
We'll see. That remains to be seen. Obviously, you don't want a guy to have his 2 best games and then get hurt the next game, and that's how it played out. He had his best 2 games of his career and then got hurt. So it's he brings, as I said when we lost him, it's the shooting everybody pointed to, but the reality in my mind was the enthusiasm, intensity. He had become a very good defender for us, and he had become a pretty good playmaker for us. His assist to turnover numbers were good, and that's from a guy that didn't know what that phrase meant when he first got here. So he really made an effort to make good decisions, and his work ethic was his intensity, his passion for what he played is tremendous. And he was out yesterday, and he brought it to the team too. So he did that for us when he left, when he was hurt, when he was injured. But he brings other things just in shooting. And if you look at his numbers, you can see the significant increases. But we need him out there, and there was a stretch early when he was out where he kind of was down, and and we see this when these guys get hurt, and I'm really trying to get Cameron to do that. They get down, they get obviously they've worked their whole year to get ready. When this injury occurs, there's mentally the disappointment, and we had to get him back. And we want to make sure with Cameron too, the same thing is they need to be part of the team. They need to always be there. And as we gave Duran that role of motivational coach, and trying to and having him talk to the team at halftime, and and relay some of the things that we're trying to say and get across. And with Cameron, we need to do the same things as well as we go forward here. But yeah, you would hope. But he's not where he was when he left, if you're as right now. But that's to be expected.
Jamie, do you feel like you have a better non-conference scheduling than you've had in the last few years?
We'll see how it plays out. It's you're in tournaments, so you don't know who you play. Those are a lot of things that factor in. I was you just never know. You think you have it figured out, but the reality is you sign up for. There's pretty much half of our games are pretty much already predetermined, and then obviously we have to line up the home games. So as we've gone through it and seen that it's something. There's the Duquesne has a big factor in where we are, how good they're going to be. That's one of our games, and it's a game that we should play. And everybody in Pittsburgh knows. It frustrates me when sometimes outside people that haven't been in Pittsburgh don't understand the importance of that game to the city, and but it's very clear how important it is to people here in Pittsburgh, and so I think how if teams improve has a big how teams play out is a big factor in it. But we're in the Big ACC. we're playing a rivalry game. We're playing a couple road games, which, most teams don't play at our level. So for that reason, I think it's good. But, the interesting thing is oftentimes, as far as numbers, how it plays out, it's usually the games those home games that you schedule, those have a huge impact on your numbers, strength of schedule, more so than they should, but that's how it works.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of teams coming in here who've been in the NCAA
Yeah.
tournament the last couple of years. You got an Atlantic 10 team coming in here. It seems like the non-conference part,
Right.
like
There's always an effort to do that. We try to get the best teams possible, and it's a challenge, and the dates and times, and then you got to have teams that want to play, and that's often an overlooked fact that has to be true. We've had a pretty good record, so it's not a great selling point when you call up teams to come play here or to play anywhere. I mean. In all those events that we play in, generally we're the first team that signs up to play, or other teams have been in there, and they change once you sign up, and that's happened in pretty much every event we've been a part of. So Maui, we were one of the first ones that signed up on that one. We booked it well in advance. So those events that we're in the best ones. So you generally have to beat it. You have to sign up about 4 or 5 years in advance. As you guys know, I've told you we're going to be in Maui for a number of years. Coaches vs. Cancer. We're in Gotham Classic next year. So we're in the best of it. Legends Classic. You got to sign up for those previously, well in advance.
Is Selden probably, I mean, it seems the most ready of your new guys to play because of his experience. But of the other, I guess, three new guys you got, I mean, are there any of those other guys you think ready if you had to play tomorrow?
Well, yeah. I mean, Ryan Luther's improved dramatically, and he played pretty good down in the Bahamas. Again, the competition wasn't what we're going to be facing, but Cameron Johnson's unique because of the way he can shoot the ball and his range. So you never know when that becomes something that you have to get more of, or you need to incorporate it in the thing. But he was, I think, our third leading scorer in the Bahamas. Again, that wasn't the competition we will see, but he can make some shots, and he has a pretty good feel. He doesn't turn the ball over. He was also like 12-1 assist to turnover. So he's, I think we're going to see early because we got some guys out right now. So there's going to be some opportunities that maybe weren't there for them. If you look back a couple months ago.
How significant is it to you to have so much Pittsburgh-born talent in the program right now, more
Well,
so than in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you could go on and on about it, but I mean, it is what it is, and these are, you're talking about two kids that are probably, if I say, if those two kids, Cameron Johnson and Ryan had done what most kids their age do in the Northeast, gone to a prep school and reclassified. They're ranked really high, and people are saying, boy, they're going to be good players. And I think people kind of got a glimpse of that when they maybe played in the summer league after the fact. So I know I remember telling people when DeJuan Blair was going to start for us as in a center, and everybody, and I know many will deny it now, but nobody thought he was going to be good enough to play right away, and he was freshman of the year, and he wasn't big enough, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. So at times, I think, because of our history, some kids, and obviously it's been very few, but they're going to be overlooked or underrated because of the past, the history of Western PA in the last 15, 20 years, at least the time I've been here. So I think they're really good players. I think they're the GPAs, the SAT scores are off the charts. They're great kids. I took them by the dean of the law school the first day they arrived on campus to say, don't sell yourself short. This is something you guys could do. And don't have some goals, and if you have some interest in it. But these are great kids, and they're going to be really good players. And they got to get stronger. They got to get, but they're just turned 18. They're young, and I think it was the right time for us to have a guy or two like that because of our situation.
When Duran's healthy, are you planning on using him in the starting lineup or more similar to the way that you've used him in years past?
I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I just going by, returning guys, you would think he'd be a starter, but, I think last year we had two really good wings that were experienced, and Lamar was pretty good, and Cameron was pretty good. So I thought we had a great rotation going until he went down. I'd love to have, three guys at those two spots, and they're getting 25, 30 minutes between them, depending on how things play out, and that's what we had going. Experienced guys. So we'll see how it plays out. There's no starters right now, but we need him as part of our team in a variety of ways. Playing on the floor is one of them.
How do you think playing in Assembly Hall against Tom Crean and playing Steve Masiello and whomever you end up playing out in Maui, whether it's Bruce Weber or Steve Fisher, how do you think playing these big-time coaches are going to prepare you not only for the second half of the season, the bulk of ACC play, but also for March and maybe being able to pose a big threat in March and making a run?
Well, I think we're playing teams that have, in the preseason are going to be good teams. I think you never quite know. Some teams are rebuilding. Some teams you don't know how injuries are going to play out, or you see kids missing games, and so there's still a lot of things to be said. But we're going to play against good people. We got some pretty good teams and coaches in our conference as well. So I think we've seen we've been in the best league ever since I've been here. So we've seen good teams in and out, and non-conference, conference, and I think it's just more of the same. And it's what we signed up for. I was with Commissioner Swafford last night and at the Pirate game, and we're just talking about what the ACC is going to become, and I don't know that it was. And I had said this before. I didn't think the ACC was going to be the best conference last year, but I think we're on the road to doing that, and that's where we're headed. And it's so great to be a part of it, and thanking him for the opportunity and believing in us and what we can bring to the conference, because we were in the best conference, and now we're becoming the best conference once again.
One other new guy who's new even since we last talked to you, Tyrone Houghton, is he sort of playing catch up?
Yeah, he is. He is, for obvious reasons. I mean, there's summers that you miss, and then there's summers where you practice for 13 weeks, and that's the summer he missed. So expect throwing some younger guys, some returning guys, a lot of returning guys. He's been out. He's catching up. So we'll see. He's gotten better each day. I mean, he had some injuries too early, so he's behind. And Derek and Joseph have been out there, pretty much every day, and so that's the interesting thing too as well. So it gives us, like I said, we've got some. We can play big, we can play smaller, and then we can go real small. So I like it, but you got to stay healthy and hope all those things play out. But he's got some catching up to do for obvious reasons.
Speaking of the ACC, Jay, are you looking forward to battling Louisville again, having them back in the conference?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm excited about it. I know some people might say, we've got when they go with the rivalry games, the teams we play, the two teams that we'll play twice, some say, you got the toughest schedule or the toughest group. We're always going to have the toughest schedule probably in conference, since we've got Louisville and Syracuse. You can just look at it. It's not even close. But that was who I hoped we would get. That's who I wanted to get. And I think it's great for our fans. I think we know every year we're going to have Louisville or Syracuse home and away, Louisville and Syracuse home and away. So to start with that, who's going to have two better games than that in the country? I mean, other conferences can't even come up with two teams that good. I mean, the other major conferences, they can't. And we've got Duke and North Carolina as well to throw in there as far as historic programs. So, we'll have either one of those two as a home game at least every year, and play the other one on the road. So I'm excited that they're the team that we got for the rivalry games, and some may say that's that may hinder you in winning conference championships. That we'll have a tougher schedule in most cases every year than most teams, but I think it's good overall for us and for our program. So we look forward to it. They're good, and we've had some great games with them over the years, and it's amazing that we created these rivalries in a short period of time, where these schools that we've got to play now, we're rivalries, and it's great. And, you know, we're working on trying to continue some of those older rivalries too as well, which is not obviously as easy to do, but, you know, we're looking at, really working on trying to get something with Georgetown, and we were close on Connecticut last year. We needed them to come to our place. They need us to go to their place, so we were close there, but that didn't happen. But we're getting there. We're talking to Villanova. You know, we're trying. So, like I said, you need two teams to ready to play.
Jimmy, what's the next step for James Robinson and his development? I mean, last year you guys talked about him trying to shoot more, and it didn't really happen because you had other guys.
Yeah.
And you had, options with Lamar. And so, I mean, what do you need from him this year that maybe you didn't need from him last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think quicker, you know, better conditions, lighter, lower body fat, those things, which it is. The numbers show it's better. He's got to become a better knockdown three-point shooter. You know, he's not the blow-by guy, drive guy every time, but he's got to be able to knock down. We pass it so well. We get guys open shots. We got to be able to knock down. He's got to be a knockdown shooter, and I think that's something. He's a good free throw shooter, but that would help our game, help his game. That's the one that kind of stands out to me most. He's got to become a better defender for us. He's a good defender. We need him to be a great defender, a lockdown defender, and that's something we got to get out of our perimeter. We haven't been as good on the perimeter defensively. You know, you look through our stats, you know, I ask people this, and they don't believe me. You know, as far as leading scoring teams in the conference, you know, I want to ask you guys, but I mean, you know, we're third in the conference in scoring last year. You know, everybody's talking about how are you going to play in the up pace, ACC, how are you going to be? You'll be, you know, we're slow, and we're the third leading scoring team in the conference, depending on what you look at, conference or non-conference games included in both, but. We got to defend better. Our you know, assists were at the top of the league, scoring were at the top. We got to become the best defensive team in the conference, and Virginia was last year. They were the best defensive team, and we haven't been there. And I think our depth hurt us last year because of that, on the perimeter especially. But you know, we've got to become that defensively, and he's got to be a big part of it. James we got to have better. We got to defend on the perimeter better. And so he's so shooting and being a lockdown defender for us, keeping the ball in front of him. Yep.
Looking at any predetermined red shirts this year?
No. I mean, you know, I guess you have some guys possibly that you think about, but you know, then you got two injuries all of a sudden, and you know, that's probably gonna change things around and what you thought maybe you could do. So no, I don't think there's going to be possibility of that, given Cameron's situation now and Duran's situation. You know, we'll see how it plays out, but you know, we're gonna have to have bodies.
Okay.
All right, thank you.